Hey, welcome to 2 Cents episode 86. It is March 5th, 2017. This is the live undoctored news show we do here at Dollar Reviews, where we cover the tech, TV, movie, streaming, video game, and VR news that you might have missed over the past week. I'm Brian Gillis. You can follow me at Brian Gillis on just about anything. And we're also on those same places ourselves. DollarReviews.net is the website proper, but Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, all those kind of great things, if you're into that, we're there too, both Steve and I. And speaking of, that's who I'm joined by. Say hello.
Hello, good evening, and welcome.
You're going to run out of those. I think you just proved that you ran out of those.
I just made a reference to something you're going to hear about on Penny Thoughts, so...
Oh, no, actually I won't, because there's not Penny Thoughts this week.
Oh, you're killing me? Oh,
no, because I was so busy with work that I literally did not watch a single movie. I didn't watch any TV. I barely even played video games. I
got one, at least, I want to say some about, because it's somewhat relevant to what we've done, if you want to do that now, or we can wait.
We'll do it in a second.
All
right. Before we get there, fuck it, you can do it right now.
All right.
Talk about your thing.
Just because we did All the President's Men a while back, so I rewatched Frost Nixon.
Still great, wasn't it?
Still great. Holy shit, still awesome.
So good.
I mean, it's definitely the easier version of what to watch on the Watergate scandal, because, I mean, as much as I love All the President's Men, some people could get bored watching it. I
Frost
did the
Nixon's
first time.
it's intriguing.
It's like a boxing movie, man.
It's really good.
It's so good.
It's like Michael Sheen.
And then you go back and rewatch some of the tapes, and it's like, no, they're not dramatizing this thing. They might be selecting what to cut out, but... Yeah, and then, it's supposed to be a 12-hour-long interview, and they chop it down to, 4 2-hour segments, so...
It's like Frank Langella gives a career-topping performance in that film.
Oh, my God, yeah.
So good. It's like, this guy's in everything, but here... Ron Howard could have easily won...
That's one of his best ones, man. It really is.
That didn't win any awards, did it?
No, but it was nominated for Best Picture. I think Howard got nominated
Slumdog
for Best
year.
Director.
So.
Yeah, Slumdog is great, man. That year was
Slumdog's
great.
fantastic.
Yeah, it was. There was so much great stuff that the Dark Knight didn't even get nominated. But yeah, no, just holy crap! I had not seen it since I saw it in theaters, and yeah, it still holds up. Well, except for one thing, because we're way more conscious now on female roles, but Rebecca Hall is in this, and all she plays literally is the love interest. She plays the woman, and it's funny because there's a scene where right when she's meeting David Frost for the first time, they're talking on the plane, and we're learning information about him, but then he tries to turn it around and is like, you know what, I don't want to talk too much about myself, let's talk about you. And then that's the scene, and they just cut to the next thing. And I was like, wow, you literally just kind of you don't even throw her a ball. She has nothing to do but be there.
She didn't even deserve probably to be in the movie at all.
Well, she wasn't that big yet. She was still rising, but it was like, wow, she was totally just a thing in the movie.
I don't mean her. I mean any female presence, because that film is totally just about how the interviews got set up.
And it's about
the
a
recording
bunch of guys
of them
preparing for it. But it's just so it's I see that, and it's again, a reflection of the time, but... It's funny because you were talking also about that thing that you thought was kind of missing from All the President's Men, and that there's no female presence at all whatsoever.
There's female
hey,
presence.
Tell me about your day. No, not for the main characters. Yes. Yeah. It's not like they could be entirely absent, but I mean, this is full on men doing the job. That it's that kind of movie, and she's just there. So I don't know. It was amusing to me. I chuckled at that, but I was like, wow, yeah, that is not at all that movie would not pass the Bechdel test at all, for sure.
We're talking about passing tests. Question of the week is back. Maybe it'll be here every week, and I got an okay one, I think. What's your least favorite type of customer / guest? We both have strictly kind of worked in the guest service / retail industry, and I was wondering just who your least favorite kind of customer is.
Do they have to at least spend money? Does that count?
No, to anyone that comes into your establishment. What's the one person that gets under your skin?
That ask for water, beg for coffee, and make messes in the restrooms.
I was going to actually ask about that.
Yeah.
I don't drink lots of caffeine, but today I had a good amount, and I was quickly reminded that it's a diuretic. Oh, because on my lunch break, I was very happy that we don't have a public bathroom. That's all I can say. It was liquid. That's it.
Well, it's just that homeless people downtown, that's the worst. But Yeah,
So
and I mean, also homeless people in Austin, they're just fucking nasty, man. Like I've met cool bums around, but it's like here they're just really mean. Like they just get pissed off if you don't give them money. So it's hard to like be sympathetic at all to them. Like I mean, homeless people in Santa Barbara and L.A. Like okay, L.A. like there's definitely some fucking weird ones, but here it's just crazy.
It's like, as you know, I've been like on a movie buying streak right now. Actually, my Dread 3D Blu-ray just arrived right before recording, so I'm excited. $5.15, folks. There's only one Blu-ray copy out there. You can get on Amazon. It's a 3D Blu-ray. It has deleted scenes and commentary, all kinds of different stuff. It's only like $5. Buy it. Hopefully they'll make a sequel if you buy it. Because if there's a superhero movie,
too. Like whenever there's deals on Black Friday, they make it like $4.
$4,
they really bring it down.
Yeah, I just I'm stocking up what I got.
Have you
I got
sampled
four
stuff?
now. No, well I can't yet. I still gotta wait. Hopefully this week my firmware update comes to my PS4 so I can watch these in 3D in my PSVR. But I've stockpiled now. So I got Step Up 3D, Tron Legacy 3D, Romeo and Juliet now, Dread. I think I'm good for now. I think those are a great sampling of both post-conversion and on-the-spot stereographer stuff. So I'm excited about that. But I bring this up not to flaunt my 3D Blu-ray collection, but one of the things that I'm thinking really hard about buying besides the Lego Movie is Clerks X, because I can get the Blu-ray, whatever, but I want that 3-disc special 10th anniversary Clerks box that you can get from Miramax.
That's what I got. Like, you could get the Blu-ray, you get all that on one disc, and then you get an extra documentary, but no, it's, that 3-disc box set, it's nice. Like, it's a precious item for me. I have it with me right now, too. Like, I'm staring at it. It's a nice thing.
It's a real nice box.
I miss packaging like that. I really do.
It's like, I bring it up because I think I was like 14 or so the first time, 13, 14 the first time I saw Clerks.
Yeah, same.
And back then, you get a chuckle out of like the annoying customer shit and the stupid questions they ask with like the big sign that says new releases. However, now that I actually work in industry which is comparable to what Randall does in that film, oh my fucking god, is it like I need to rewatch it. I need to buy it. I found like the Clerks X $5 on eBay. With the animated series together also. And it's like, I already have that animated series, but fuck it, I'll buy another one, like gift it to someone.
I mean, anything with food, it's like, I'm more forgiving with that because it's not as much of a dumb question. But, I worked at a theater in high school. Like, that's right when I started seeing, like, I started understanding exactly what they felt like instead of just laughing at it in that movie. And holy shit, you get so many dumb questions.
So many dumb questions. Yeah. Especially now. I mean, back when you were doing that,
it's not just
the internet
customer service though, man. Like any job,
it's beyond that.
I've even worked TV. Like you get dumb questions from people that should know what they're
you forget how many dumb people are out there. You really do.
Oh yeah, no, there's always going to be dumb people no matter what. That's just something you got to deal with in life.
I'll bring it up in a little bit after the teasers. A lot of stuff happened this week. A lot of people I think would point at like Nintendo Switch coming out, and I got some stories about that. Let's start the teasers with just like a little bit of a I told you so moment. I've talked about this on the show a good amount, especially once we got a little bit more political. I was like, oh, I bet you the Obamas are becoming celebrities. They're going to get an agent, go into movies or TV or something. Mm-hmm. The steps are already there. The Obamas, yes, the couple themselves, Barack and Michelle, have just signed a blockbuster deal with Random House, whom they've already, prior to this engagement... Yeah, the book company. They've already published 3 books from them. 2 from Barack, 1 from Michelle. Mm-hmm. They're going to do a 2-book deal, 1 from each of them, and it's rumored to be in the $60 million range.
You said blockbuster, right?
That's a blockbuster deal. I'm not talking about blockbuster movies, just period.
Okay, yeah, but this is for just books. I mean,
this is going to be a memoir, probably, for both of them. And I'm not
surprised by them. Like, there a lot of people love them. They're very profitable.
I'm surprised by that number.
60 million.
Think about this: Moonlight, which obviously we'll be talking about in a little bit, only cost $1.5 million to make. A whole movie.
Okay, yeah. But like, here's the thing: the Obamas, they're like, equate that to like easy popular entertainment. There's a lot of people that love them. Whereas Moonlight, it's that art movie that came out that not necessarily everyone is going to love when they see it, even if a lot of people are going to see it.
All I'm getting at is, it's not hard to write a memoir. You literally just type.
Get a ghostwriter.
Yeah, well, Barack Obama's known for being a great pen. Like, he is an actual writer. He has a
Yeah.
great voice. You can tell it's his. Michelle, probably the same thing. Maybe he'll help her write hers. You don't have to be creative to write your life story. Especially, this isn't going to be a life story. This is going to be what our 8 years were like. I wouldn't be surprised if they had, like, matching titles. $60 million. That's ridiculous.
No,
I hope they donate a lot of that money.
I bet you it'll sell.
Oh no, it's going to sell. That's a guarantee worldwide. It's going to be a blockbuster.
Yeah, so 60
and
million has to. It must be worth it if they're willing to put
one
that
or the
much
both of
forward.
them are going to get adapted into either a TV series, web series, streaming series, or movie. I guarantee it. If Barack Obama is already into movies, what is it? Fucking Saturday?
Southside
not
with
Saturday.
You and
Yeah, Southside with
whatever's
You
on
and Barry.
Netflix. Yeah.
Yeah, so he's already got 2 movies. This is going to be another one. I wouldn't be surprised if he stars in it. Maybe with Michelle. Maybe their kids also. Maybe Malia will, be on the set. It's going to be at the Weinstein Company. Anything is possible. Talking about Weinstein, that's not a good segue anyway. I was humming Wizard of Oz right before the show, Follow Yellow Brick Road. The reason is they're making another movie set in the magical world of Oz. This one is not Disney, thankfully. It's going to be New Line, so Oz is coming home. This sounds awesome.
Wait,
it's
so
a horror.
Does Disney not have the rights anymore to Baum's
They're-
books, or what?
They never had the rights. It's a public domain, I believe. That's why there's The Wiz and Wicked and countless other examples. The TV adaptation, Wiz on NBC. It's been public domain forever. Anyway, New Line is going to be making a original horror movie set within Oz. This sounds awesome. I don't know anything about it. I don't want to read the script. The guy who wrote it is like on the blacklist for a couple of things. He's got a lot of things in production currently. Melding fantasy with horror is perfect. I mean, it works on Game of Thrones. It works in a lot of different realms.
Mm-hmm.
I would love if this is like a horror musical in the true sense of the word. Like they're able, because it's New Line. That's Warner Brothers. Warner Brothers made the original Wizard of Oz.
Yeah.
Well, not original, but the Wizard
The original.
of Oz.
Well, no, there was a silent film too.
Yeah, but this is
that's
the
like-
one,
that's-
the iconic one. They could totally do CG Judy Garland, use the tunes, any number of things, and just make it scary. New Line has a great track record with like The Conjuring and Annabelle and too many other franchises to name. Who knows who's going to direct this, when this is going to come, but
If it's a blacklist script too, then that's promising already. Or from a
this
guy
one's not.
even that's
It's the
on
guy that's
blacklist.
on the blacklist.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but still, I mean, that's
it's probably a great story. Yeah,
yeah, because I'm sure that I'm guessing he pitched it. I'm guessing.
I don't know, but
It's such a batshit crazy like that. You love the guy, but it sounds like something Max Landis would pitch, and then you'd be like, "That's a fucking brilliant idea." Like, what?
I think it's a brilliant idea,
How could
even
you
without
not
Max
think of
Landis.
that? Yeah.
But this one, I hope this goes in production soon. It's horror, it's New Line, it's probably going to be cheap. If we get a trailer, like this time next year, or better yet, if it's in theaters this time next year, I might actually do my thing that I don't do and go see horror in a Cineplex. Because if they are able, like I said, to like bring musical elements into this, make it really fun and also like real spooky at the same time, make the Wicked Witch actually scary,
Yeah.
They could have something on their
When
hands.
was
They
the last
could.
time you saw a horror movie in theaters?
I don't
Really,
know.
You can't think of it.
I mean, yeah, I don't know. Like
What,
that's something that
in middle school, like The Ring or something, or
no, I've never seen The Ring. I was
right.
thinking about seeing it this year, but I passed on it. It's like not horror, but I know I saw Freddy vs. Jason. I saw the first Resident Evil movie. I got no clue. I don't know. I'll come back next episode. 2 cents.
All right.
I'll hunt it down, but I wouldn't be surprised if it was that Resident Evil, the first Resident Evil flick.
It's very
No,
telling.
Freddy
I mean,
vs.
that's the
Jason
one
came out after
question No, yeah, Freddy vs. Jason was like a year later, I think.
Yeah, I have Freddy vs. Jason on DVD.
Oh
I have the
God,
Platinum
it's
series,
so
New Line.
terrible. So terrible. Jason
was
X
Devil,
is awesome, but Freddy vs. Jason, no.
Well, like some other horror films I saw roughly in that time frame. I saw the Crazies remake.
that one's good.
It was all right. I saw
I wanna see the
Devil's
original,
Rejects.
Still love that movie.
So I saw like a fair amount in that time frame, but since then, no, I can't remember. Like it'd be different, if I had if I had a significant other when horror films come out. Then yeah, maybe I
Did
I
you
would
ever go to that Paranormal Activity screening at school? when they had it?
No, I didn't even know we had one.
They had one for 4. Like that was at the point where I was like, okay, I'm done with these. And then they showed in Gary's class,
Oh.
and I'm just kind of like, all right, fine.
Talking Gary's class totally counts. Well, first I saw Fright Night in 2011, but that same year I also saw Scream 4 and My Soul to Take. So it would be around 2011. But you know me. I don't go pay the money to see the scary shit. Like even if it's not necessarily scary, it's just I'd rather laugh. That's my MO.
Yeah, that's why you go see a Sam Raimi movie and you can do both.
Yeah.
Hey. Upcoming episode.
Yeah. Wednesday.
Not exactly that scary, but well,
we'll
scary
pitch
in different ways.
I wouldn't know. Don't ruin it for me. Staying with directors, going to some Sam Raimi and Travis Knight, a name that you guys might not know, and that's a shame. I know you're not a fan, but he did put in a great directing job on Kubo and the Two Strings. He's also known as being the president and CEO of Leica. You know, they've done Box Trolls, Coraline, Paranorman, and
so only a fan of like a quarter of those.
Whatever. I'm only a fan of half of those.
When that came out, Coraline?
Probably. I think he created Leica. I don't know how long he's been there, but anyway, you might get a kick out of this. He's going to be directing the Bumblebee spinoff for Allspark Pictures. So I don't know exactly how they went from stop motion first time director to one of the biggest franchises in blockbuster history, but hey, he's proven that he knows how to work, not necessarily with animation, but stop motion and CG aren't too separate from one another. So he knows how to bring life to something that isn't real. We still don't have a date on this thing. Maybe there's like kind of a setup for it in the last night this summer. We'll find out. Maybe they have like some post-credit sequence. If he's on board already, I would think that he could direct something in the same way that, you know, the Deadpool 2 teaser is in front of Logan, which isn't a teaser anymore because, hey, it's on the internet and it already has like 10 million views or something ridiculous. And it's actually a different cut among the differences.
They don't have the song in there from the one that was in theaters.
No, well, yeah, well...
No, like the song that's on his headphones. It's the one that's in that starts at the pre-credit sequence with Deadpool. Can't remember the name of it. But then, like I saw the clip on YouTube and I was like, well, this sounds different.
Well, the real difference is that Stan Lee has a cameo and there's like a phone call, but it's a Stan Lee cameo. I don't know why that didn't make the theater cut, but hey, whatever. Leaving him alone, though, here's our last piece of little movie news, then we're going to move right along to headlines, because we still got a huge thing that we need to talk about. I wanted to start the show with it, but there's no other spot for this shit. Disney might reboot Tron again as a Jared Leto vehicle. This is super exciting. You know, I mentioned this like less than 5 minutes ago. I just got my Tron Legacy 3D Blu-ray 2 days ago. Or at least 2 days before this news broke, Joseph Kosinski told Collider that the third movie, Tron Ascension, would have been a new take on the Invasion flick. Like, they would have brought the grid world into the real world in the third act. It would have set up all kinds of different possibilities. And the character, apparently, that Leto might be circling, Ares, would have played a large role in Tron 3, probably playing the antagonist. I'm not sure. But hopefully this just means the franchise isn't dead, because after that Tron Uprising show on Disney XD, they scrapped plans at Disneyland and Disney World. They didn't move forward with the sequel. And it makes sense, too, because Kosinski was saying in this interview, he's like, look, they've got the Marvel shit, they got the Star Wars stuff, they got Indiana Jones, they got so many properties between the live-action remakes, the Pixar things, that they don't need to do Tron. Like, Tron Legacy was a gamble, huge gamble.
It keeps going back and forth. Like, they keep on bringing Tron 3 up again, and then they dismiss it, and then someone says, oh, it might happen, so I'm not going to hold my breath for it. But
this is the first big news I've heard about it in quite some time. It's, like, fitting that 2 times in the same week it popped up, and usually that's a sign. I wouldn't be surprised. You know, Jared Leto, he's in Blade Runner, isn't he? With Ryan Gosling? I want to say he is. Pretty sure he is. He's got a couple of things coming out this year, probably maybe a cameo in Justice League, who knows.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm not necessarily a fan of his, but he has a big name, he has an Oscar, he still commands a high salary. People might turn out to see him because he's way bigger than Jarrett Edlund or Jeff Bridges in that respect. And if maybe this isn't a reboot, I would.
Jarrett Edlund?
Isn't that his name? Garrett? Jarrett?
Yeah, I think it's Garrett. Yeah.
Yeah, maybe people would actually turn up. It's not that Tron Legacy did poorly, but it didn't, kickstart the rest of the franchise that they totally set up at the end of that second film. But yeah, I hope this isn't a reboot. I hope this is a continuation. Maybe they could cap it off with a trilogy and then just reboot it again. Like there's a fitting way to do that in terms of a movie that's set place in the grid or in a computer. Just make it, about cycles. Cycles go from 0 to 1 and then it's over. That's how binary works. It's coming full circle. Just make another one after this.
I would only want it to be a success just so I can go on the light cycle ride that's going to be at Disneyland because of that.
Yeah.
It's like fuck Star Wars Land or Avatar Land. Like, hey, as much as I love Star Wars, just light cycles, that sounds like an awesome
That'd be
ride.
awesome.
Like
that
sounds like an awesome VR.
I didn't get the
experience of some
game
sort.
today, but I got a free case for it. They made a Tron Legacy game, and I have the case now. It looks really cool, and it was like a 3D game, so maybe eventually when I get a 3D TV or they patch PSVR to work on PS3, especially for 3D games, I'll be able to play it. But yeah, I have...
It's a game based off a movie, though, and it came out around the same time.
I'm not expecting something good, but yeah, this is like kind of fills in the gaps between what happens in Tron and Tron Legacy. It's not supposed to be good. But just, like I said, I've always liked Tron. I don't remember the first time I saw it, but it's one of the few movies that I own on UMD, the format that the PSP use. Like, I have a couple of movies, and one of them is Tron. I don't know if I'll ever buy an actual copy. Like, that copy's good enough for me. Like, it's a little, like, niche little, kind of like Laserdisc almost. It's like, no one really owns that, but for the people that do, it's like a big thing, or like HD DVD. The fact that you can get every title for a format is really enticing to a lot of people. And I got a couple of UMDs that are cool. I got Pulp Fiction, I got Batman, the movie from '66, I got Chappelle's Show Volume 1, Spider-Man 2, and I want to say one other thing. Van Wilder.
Jeez.
Fuck yeah, man.
I completely forgot that those were a thing.
They were totally a thing.
And they charged like $20 each for them. Like
it was DVD prices.
Yeah, it's insane. Because you could only watch this on a PSP, right? Like,
yeah, but it's not that crazy when you think about it. Just the idea.
Does it look that good? Like,
it looks DVD quality. Yeah. I mean, it's DVD quality. Some of them have extra features. Sometimes there's like director's commentary. They have scene selection. They would come with inserts for chapters, just like the original DVDs did. But yeah, you could only play it on one format. I mean, you can only play it on one device, which was kind of a letdown. But that's exactly what it was. This is before iPods could really do video, and you have a device.
Also before wireless interlinking, really.
Yeah,
for devices like that.
Not really. The PSP had Wi-Fi both for ad hoc infrastructure. It was a web browser. It could do a lot of things. But yeah, this is before streaming video. And the idea was, well, you could bring a portable DVD player with you, but that's big and the battery only lasts so long. Or you could bring this one system that you put your movies and videos and games on and all kinds of things.
3 years or so, didn't it?
Oh, way longer than that. I mean, there's
PSP
actually...
came out in, what, 03, 04?
It's March 24th, 2005. So it lasted like a good 5 years, 6 years.
Yeah, it went on to 2010, really?
Yeah.
Like,
you'd be surprised.
It died around 2006, at least. I didn't see them that much anymore. No one was using them.
No way, man. They put out 4 iterations of that hardware. Yeah, like it was my first portable media player. It was my first MP3 player, like my first video player. I used it in that way. Like it was really enticing, especially because I'm talking about portable DVD players. I had one of those, and once I got my PSP, I was like, well, this thing is way too big. This thing can fit in my pocket. Which one? Oh, and I can play games on it. What? Like it opened up a whole another thing. But moving on, we'll get into gaming a little bit later, especially because Game Developers Conference was this week. Here's a little last piece of director's news. Alejandro Gonzalez Iñárritu, big name, big guy, big stuff. He got a TV show off the ground called The 1%. At SARS right after Birdman won Best Picture. It got picked up for like a 10 episode, or not Birdman, The Revenant, not Best Picture,
yeah,
but right after that came out.
Right after,
anyway,
okay, yeah.
Right after The Revenant. And this was a big thing. It was like a 10-picture deal. It was like, oh my God, Stars is doing big things. God knows why, but they have dropped the project. It's still in production, but likely be shopped around right now. Most likely going to end up at Amazon or Netflix. So we'll see where he goes. Probably going to be Amazon just because they can attract bigger name talent besides stand-up comedians. But apparently the reason the full season order became a problem was because just like with Birdman and The Revenant, Iñárritu just clung to the idea of filming it chronologically, which is not something you do for TV. That's like impossible. So whatever.
Well, you can do like episode to episode, yeah, but
He's trying, he's trying to do all 10 episodes in order, in screen order. Like, no, that's not how you make a TV show.
Difficult.
It's like, okay, so we have a scene in this setting in episode 1 and one in episode 4. Let's film both scenes together right now, in the same spot. Let's do it. And I guess he was like, no, I have an idea. And I mean, Lubezki's on this too, so it's big people, and with big people you can command big things, but Starz wasn't having it. Maybe that's because Lionsgate owns them now. And it's anyone's guess, but trust me, this thing isn't dead. People that with names that big, the project doesn't die. Like I said, it's still in production. We're probably still going to see it Amazon, Netflix. Mark my words. I doubt it's going to HBO, but that's possible too. Last teaser we got here, and this is going to kind of set up the rest of the show, just the ever-evolving nature of the world. YouTube TV has officially been announced. That's Google's over-the-top TV service. It was shown off this week. It's going to cost $35 a month, which was the original pricing of DirecTV Now. It's going to offer live and on-demand content, no recording restrictions. It's all going to be in Google's cloud. It's also going to allow 6 users on the same account. It's going to be large markets first, and it includes all 4 networks, obviously not the CW because they still don't count as a network for some reason. It's going to lack Viacom and also Turner content altogether, so no Comedy Central, no MTV, TBS, TNT, CNN. It's going to have its own separate app from Google, or not from Google, from YouTube and also YouTube Music, so that's way too many YouTube apps on your phone at once. But it's going to be cool. It's going to have Chromecast connectivity, Google Home, those speakers in your house that you can talk to, kind of like Alexa. It's going to support it. Other things are hazy, like a launch date, other things of that nature. But it's poised to offer like the best connection and dedicated proven advertising, which is lacking on PlayStation Vue, Sling, and DirecTV Now. And also, kind of cool, it's going to feature YouTube Red content for free. It would be better if it came with a free YouTube Red subscription every month, since you're paying $35. I'm just curious, though, because I wonder if they're going to be leveraging their live programming, which they've been pushing really hard. Not as hard as Facebook, but even still. Or even better yet, and this is kind of like a wet dream, if they could create like a CNN-style always-on internet news/variety show. Like, imagine turning it into like the YouTube, it's like YouTube TV news station or something, and it's like, oh, have you seen this video? Check this out. Here's stuff that's going on with Trump. And you would always have a way to access it in the way like Twitch TV works. You go to twitch.tv, maybe it's not a streamer that you just want to like hang out and listen to someone talk, kind of like background noise, talking heads. We'll see what YouTube does, because right now it seems like they're just trying to tackle TV directly, which, come on, like, that's not going to work. TV might be dying in the way that it's been set up for, 50 years, but...
Well, it's mainly, I mean, it's the delivery system that's changing, but, the news and sports, that's always going to be live.
With the delivery system changing, though, they have to also change the content.
Yeah.
And none of the other people have offered anything original. But since YouTube is first and foremost a creator-driven platform, they need to offer, or at least announce in the near future, that kind of content as part of, like I said, I want a channel dedicated to just YouTube.
More like Starship Troopers. Would you like to know more?
Something like that. Anything. I'm getting tired. It's like the differentiating factor between all these different over-the-top services is the price points and what come in the bundles. But it's still TV. It's just you don't have a contract and you don't have to connect it with a technician on a weekend. But it's still the same thing. Like, I want something different. Like, when we live in the era of Snapchat and Instagram and live video and live streaming, and anyone with a smartphone that's from the last 2 or 3 years and unlimited data can easily live stream any event on a plethora of platforms. Your name's YouTube. You're making YouTube TV. Bring YouTube to my TV. Don't do TV through YouTube. But we still don't know. It hasn't been hard ironed. We don't know. And with that, we jump to headlines, the real TV stuff. Before we do, though, we're having a little pause here. We're going from one thing to the next. We could throw an advertisement here, except we don't have any. We're not sponsored. If you'd like to sponsor us, you can do that at patreon.com/dollarreview. Dollar views, rather. All kinds of price points. Make your own. You want us to talk about your tampon biz? Hey, I'll do it. Maxi pads, Maxi Fresh. Anything, really. Like, I want to keep the show going. As of right now, I'm thinking it's going to end at 100 episodes. It'd be awesome if it went forever. So yeah, throw some money our way. We'll keep talking. But here's the headlines right when I take a water break. So here's the big one. Last week, episode titled Oscars So What the Fuck? The internet media went with Oscars So Wrong. A lot of stuff happened this week in relation to this because, of course, they had to. It was a little delayed. Here's the official story what happened. So Brian Cullinan, who is one of the 2 accountants at PricewaterhouseCoopers, who's designated to handing out envelopes safeguarded in their iconic briefcases, is being held responsible for the Best Picture incident at the Oscars. If you don't know what happened, I don't know how you don't, especially if you're listening to this show. Basically, La La Land was awarded Best Picture, and then about 2.5 minutes after that, the stage director came on stage. There was a very humble thing that happened. One of the producers of La La Land said, "Nope, there's been a mistake. Actually, Moonlight, you guys won." They came on stage, they
I love
hugged.
how the last producer was also given his speech, even when he knew what was going on, and
Right.
then he finished up. He's like, "By the way, we didn't win."
No, well, the last guy always like, "I just want to thank
No,
my
he was
wife
just
and
standing
kids."
there, like really awkward, just kind of like, thank you, but we lost. But he did it anyway.
He
like,
was
it's,
real
it's
humble.
a very
Like,
awkward situation, though.
The picture I picked for last week's 2 cents was the most fitting. You got Jimmy Kimmel in the foreground with like Warren Beatty holding the envelope, like what the hell just happened? And then you have Barry Jenkins and this producer we're talking about hugging on stage, like handing the envelope over. Like it really great. Variety has a great joint interview with Barry Jenkins and Damien Chazelle shining light on this. But over the week, Monday there wasn't anything. Tuesday was the big day. That's when everything came out. But yeah, this guy Brian Cullinan, the dumb fuck, was literally live tweeting backstage at the Oscars. He even tweeted a picture of Emma Stone holding her Best Picture Actress Oscar. Wow. Warren Beatty and Faye Dunaway were on stage presenting. He has since deleted that picture. I'm surprised he didn't delete his Twitter. He didn't even realize he handed Bonnie and Clyde the wrong envelope, despite part of his job description being that he has to memorize all 24 winners. It's only 24. It's not that hard. And this guy is a notable starfucker. Most of his Twitter feed is just like, ooh, look who I saw. Look what I did. Like, he thinks he looks like Matt Damon because, hey, he kind of does. But, like, oh, so much shit has come out about this. Apparently he pitched a skit to the producers where him and his partner, Ruiz, would, like, do some kind of comedy sketch on stage about what PwC does in terms of accounting and how the envelopes are tallied. And mind you, I think it was like 2 or 3 years ago they actually did that. So, I remember what it was. It was the year that what's his name? Dookie Howser, when he hosted, Neil Patrick Harris, he had a magician like set up all show, and then he was like, I'm gonna tell you exactly what happens, and this guy Brian Cullinan like had a segment in that. So yeah, it took him about 2 minutes to fess up to what happened. You were partially right last week. On each side of the stage, him and his partner both have a stack of 24 red envelopes, and depending on where the presenters walk in from, they hand them the envelope. So they always have the one that they hand to the presenter, who is then, that is given to the winner. They have, the document, and then they have the backup for the records, okay? He was so busy on his phone, and there's several pictures, especially on Variety, of him holding the envelopes in hand with his phone. You can see like an archival photo of his Emma Stone tweet, of some of his other tweets. Like, how are you responsible for handing out the envelopes, and you are delegated to pick the winners, and yet you are busy doing a side gig? Like, even people at McDonald's can't get away with using their phone backstage.
Like, yeah.
It's called being a dumbass. The worst part about this is that he is not being crucified. It took, what's her name? It took Cheryl Boone Isaacs an entire 24 hours after the Oscars to even make a statement. Monday there wasn't one. It came out Tuesday morning. And basically all it said was, we're going to still work with PricewaterhouseCoopers. However, the 2 accountants that were on stage are barred from ever coming to the Oscars again, which frankly is not big enough. Especially because Warren Beatty the night of and the day following was basically a scapegoat. He was the one to blame. I told you last week. There's no way that he's going to take
funny.
the loss.
I watched it afterwards, and he didn't even say it. He just
No,
looked at it
Faye
confused.
Dunaway.
And Faye
Yeah, I told
Dunaway, yeah,
you.
she was like looking cute, and all she read was like La La Land right at the first glimpse, and then he's just like, oh, okay.
That's what I was saying. That's why
It's
I
funny
was
because
so
he's
mad.
just like looking at her for help, like, "Hey, help! What do I do here?" And then he's just like, "Somebody should stop this." And it's totally not his fault, man.
The
Like,
way
I think enough people at least realize that now.
No,
but
everyone
it was
knows.
way too funny.
It's so funny. Like, according to Jimmy Kimmel, right after it happened, he was asking Warren Beatty, like, do you want to come on my show tomorrow and we can talk about it? And he was like, just, modestly refused. He kind of isn't in the spotlight anymore. And he didn't let go of the envelope he was given all night. He probably still has it. In his own words, it's the smoking gun, and it proves that he was set up. And it's funny because Shirley MacLaine, who I found out is actually Warren Beatty's older sister, thinks he should be given the opportunity to redeem himself next Oscars and do the Best Picture again. He totally should have that chance.
Well,
Faye
it's going to
Dunaway,
be a joke no matter what, so it makes
Definitely.
sense to bring him back and
it's
make
like
it.
Faye Dunaway, she doesn't get to do it again. But him, yeah. Let him get that moment to shine again. Let him recoup his losses because it wasn't his fault. It was these two accountants, especially Cullinan. He should be fired. He's being kept on. PwC, all they did was apologize. The Academy, they just apologized. There has yet to be a real incident. There hasn't been anything actually happen yet. Like, it was a joke when it happened. It's still a joke. Like, it's embarrassing. They've been working together for 83 years. Mm-hmm. That's only 7 years less than the Oscars, or 6 years less than the Oscars have existed. And I would think either, you sever ties, you sue them, you do something, anything to get in front of us.
I mean, they have to have a good enough working relationship that it's one screw up, but one guy is
responsible.
It's
a big screw up. He's not fired.
Well, I don't know what they're doing. Maybe they have a really good working relationship with him, for all I know. I don't know. I'm not passionate enough to care, really, because the whole situation is ridiculous.
It doesn't matter anymore. Like, it's been a week, but man, it's like this is such a joke.
It's like, okay, so you won't be back. Good.
Somewhere in the UK, there was a screening of Moonlight, and the projectionist thought it would be funny to show like 10 seconds of La La Land before Moonlight started as like, this is so funny kind of moment.
That's not funny at all.
That's not funny at all. I didn't watch the talk shows this week, in particular Jimmy Kimmel, but it had to be the top gag like on every show Monday night. It had to be like SNL yesterday. It had to be a thing. You just know, like it has to have been a thing. And it's going to be a thing for a long time, more so than the Miss Universe Steve Harvey thing.
Well, I don't know, because Trump tweeting about how Obama fucking
that's pretty big too.
Yeah,
he's wiretapping me, guys. It's Watergate. I can't believe this guy. Trump, you got to give him this. I actually had this conversation. I went on a Tinder date this week, and it wasn't great, and I don't think I'm going to ever talk to this girl again, and especially because I was texting her last night, and she just didn't respond. I was like, hey, fuck it, I don't care. I had a bad time anyway. But we got talking about politics at a certain point, and she was like, I can't believe you voted for Trump. I don't meet a lot of people like you, like 20-year-olds that voted conservatively. I was like, but I didn't vote conservatively. I voted to legalize marijuana and to not have condoms in porn, Oh, yeah, by the way, I also voted for some guy that my vote didn't count for. But anyway, I was like, he hasn't done anything. He's just a loudmouth. He's just as much of a loudmouth as he was before he won the election. What? Oh, he had his Muslim ban, which lasted all of 48 hours. Nothing's happened yet.
Yeah, but you're in a blue state where I imagine it's more people are being angry at one side. You're not in a state where you're seeing two sides standing and getting in heat. You're not worried about two sides clashing at protests and then riots breaking out. So
even still, I'm just saying
you're probably in a much safer America right now.
From a factual standpoint, it's been a month and a half. Mm-hmm. This presidency has done nothing thus far. They,
No, it's getting a lot of stupid attention. It's just I'm not surprised at all. Just without trying to get political, but Hillary was not a good option.
No,
it was.
She lost because she was a bad option.
Yeah, that's part of it. And a lot of people voted for him because, there are places in the country where people don't have jobs, and him, ending free trade and all, or that deal.
Make America great again.
Yeah, to bring jobs back, it's like, yeah, there are people that are not racist that are actually concerned about their livelihood, and so when he's saying stuff like that, that does resonate. There's a lot of other dumb, heavy shit that resonates with his hardcore supporters, but I mean, hey, half the time, like, or not half the time, but okay, like
Most of the
15% of
time.
the time, Trump actually makes sense.
He's a
I think that's
baby.
fair.
And, he has this digital platform that he's really great at. Proof of how great he is at Twitter is the fact that everyone retweets his tweets with their own commentary on it. It's like, look, you are fueling his flames. You are making him more powerful because now all of your followers are aware of his tweets. I don't follow him, either on his post
Yeah.
account or his personal account. And any person that does, especially if you're ridiculing him, you're more part of the problem than any of the better critics. Like,
Well, it's getting out of hand. It's like, okay, report on it when it matters. I don't
yeah.
give a fuck if he's ordering meatloaf or he's fucking ordering food for Chris Christie by like trying to emasculate him. I don't give a shit about that.
People
Like,
love easy
don't
jokes.
make tabloids out of stupid shit like that. Like, yeah, even these are journalists that should be reporting on things that matter
Real
at the moment that we
things, yeah.
should know about. And it's like you're just making him more of a celebrity. Like, I don't give a fuck about these things.
It's exactly
When he
like
says something that actually matters and is very controversial, then yes, report on that.
it's exactly like I said when his Hollywood star got defaced on 2 Cents.
Mm-hmm.
That made him president. The fact that people were so anti-Trump made more people pro-Trump than anything else.
Like, that's the thing. If Trump gets assassinated, that is the worst thing that's gonna happen.
Well,
in this country.
it'd be the worst thing ever. Just
It's
any
just
president.
gonna be bad for liberals
any
for appearance's sake.
any politician getting assassinated is a horrible idea. But there are literally liberals out there that probably hope he gets assassinated. Like, not
Oh, yeah.
jokingly. People
No,
hate him so
yeah.
much that they probably wish he was dead. And it's like, dude, that's your president. Love him or hate him, democracy prevailed and he became president. That's how the election process works. And, he's under the microscope currently because the first 100 days for any presidency are pivotal.
That's why they call it the first 100 days. Like,
Well, it's
there's
more
a
of a-
reason why they stress it.
It's an FDR thing. It's like everyone always has to follow him now. It's like just the idea that he got that much shit done after the Depression. Oh my God, fascinating. But I hope after these 100 days that no one talks about him at all. That maybe he even leaves office and he steps down. Anything, because it's getting tiresome.
There's things to be concerned about from that administration, though. And
There's
I don't like.
There's countless things to be concerned about across the board in all portions of life, and it's just it's such a hotbed that I mean, it's not like a mystery. As soon as the presidency was about to start, and initially right after, we covered it on 2 Cents. Like, there's like a 6-week spread there. It's not part of the show anymore for a reason. It's because I got nothing to add. There's nothing happening. It's like literally nothing has happened. There was the Muslim ban, and that was it. And that wasn't even a real thing. It's like maybe there's been some like budget cuts. Like, oh, he wants to get rid of the endowment of the arts. Like, that's horrible. I hope that doesn't happen. But as of yet, that hasn't happened yet.
I mean,
like,
people have
it
also
might
been
happen.
protesting around just immigration or illegal.
But that hasn't
immigration.
happened either. Like,
Well, no, that's nothing new. But just this administration is being more vocal about it and more aggressive about it.
people are
But
just
it's
crybabies.
nothing new. It's
It's like they ran on the platform of
mean-
building the wall, and so they have to talk about that stuff, or else the people that voted for their administration are going to be pissy.
There's
they
fucking shitty things about both sides. I mean,
All
it's
politics
just,
is
we live
shitty.
in a time where like so many people just love to play the victim card whenever the hell they get the chance, and fucking liberals are doing it right now, even when they don't need to. And when you do that, you just come off like a whiny douche that doesn't get anything done. You
Like,
just whine the whole time. That's it.
I saw someone that I went to high school with on Facebook talking about the Oscar So Wrong controversy say, I'm so happy La La Land didn't win. It's such a racist movie.
Seriously,
And it's like, dude,
yeah.
I get it. You're a gay Mexican. Cool. You live in New York. Gotta love it. But it's not a racist movie. Something that's racist as an inherently vile statement about a certain, category of human being. A certain group of people based on their skin color or ethnic background. La La Land has nothing of the sort. It's a joyful movie about just how great music is. And yeah, a white guy saves jazz, cool. But it's like,
It's
if
like, big
that
fucking
is
whoop. At least he fucking loves it and respects the art form for what it is. Like, a big fucking deal, you know.
if that's your
There are roots
criticism,
to jazz, but it's not like, you know, you have to be black to, like, play jazz at all, you know. It's fucking stupid.
it's like Gone with the Wind. That's a racist movie.
Yeah.
Casablanca. That's a kind of racist movie. Like, there's a lot of movies out there that are a lot worse off than La La
A lot
Land.
of old Hollywood stuff is very, very conservative and, you know, just reinforces the white patriarchal values of the time.
It
But
goes beyond that. Just the fact that who, it's like Sidney Poitier was literally the first
he's
leading
like, yeah, the
black
first guy
man
that,
in
like,
history.
is an actor. He's not playing a stereotype at all.
No, not even that.
He's
Like,
not a coon at all.
until him, I don't think there was a leading black man in a Hollywood feature. I'm not sure if that was a thing outside of like blackface or like a minstrel show like that. There wasn't. He was the first bankable black guy, and after
And you can
him,
take him seriously.
yeah, after him, you know, we've had a long string of successors: Morgan Freeman, Denzel Washington, fucking Will Smith. Like, there's so many people to list. Jamie Foxx. There's too many. I guess The Rock kind of counts, but I think the reason why The
I'd
Rock
say
is
even
such a big
comedians, like, you know, you can count
well,
Eddie Murphy and Kevin Hart. It's like,
no,
I
black
mean,
comedians
even,
have always been bankable, but it's
yeah,
like
no,
I
but
think
like in a way where it's like, okay, you're actually rooting for them. Like, you're not laughing at them, you're laughing with them.
I think the beauty of The Rock is that he's the most bankable star in Hollywood currently, and yet he doesn't have a definable racial background. It's like, is he a Pacific Islander? Is he black? Like, he's kind of brown. Is he part Mexican?
Kind of a bit of everything.
Like, he's a
isn't he?
little bit of everything. It's like, yeah, he was a wrestler, but he's more than that. He can sing, but that's not his only thing. Like, he was a football player in college. It's just, you can't pigeonhole him. He just has great charisma, and he's likable. Period. And that's why everyone loves him. And I think we're gonna get a lot more movie stars like him moving forward, where it's not like, oh yeah, I love her, she's great, and oh yeah, she's so pale skinned too, I love her, her skin's
Well,
so
it's
good.
just, you know, the browning of America is inevitable. Like, that's part of like what's stupid about the "Make America
It's like the
Great"
great
slogan is like, what? So you want to make it like 50s, like white? No, like there's so many interracial couples that it's just it's gonna happen. You know,
It's like
that's
the
it.
great Warren Beatty said in Bulworth. Everyone just has to keep fucking until everyone's
And
the same
no,
color.
and that's true. That's inevitable. Like,
It's gonna happen.
We're bound to get there, no matter what.
'Cause I don't know if I ever told you this, but you know, my ex-girlfriend that I talked about on this show and all of our shows for so many weeks, almost months, you know, in the past year, I never once asked her what her racial background was. I knew what color her skin was, and it didn't matter to me. And
It's a big fucking deal, right?
it was to a lot of people. I would like show people a picture of her, and they go, "She's mixed, right?" And they would like ask me like, "What's she mixed with?" And I didn't know the answer. And the reason I didn't know the answer is I didn't give a shit. Like, I liked
Race
her.
is a weird thing. It's like
It isn't, though.
I mean,
Like,
well, no, it's because as far as like how we're supposed to perceive it as a culture, because it's like, you know, if you're not white, then it's something that you hold on to, that you like to identify as, and you'd like to wear it proudly.
no, I
Because
see it
there's
as
some
a joke,
assholes that
though.
like to yeah, there's some people that just like to treat it as like act on race as a discriminatory thing. So then, yeah, anyone that's a perceived minority has no choice but to look at it proudly
like,
and say, no, I got no shame in this, I'm proud of what I am. But it's like, geez, like I really wish we were at a point where this stuff was normalized, as opposed to having to like put an emphasis on how unique you are just because your skin is a fucking color.
It's like,
It's like, good God, I don't care.
I've seen people talk about this as being part of white privilege, but
It is.
Well,
it totally
not-
is, because
not
we
this,
don't
it's
have
just-
to think of it though.
it's like when people ask me what my background is, I just say white, and they're like, "No, where are you from?" I'm like, America, and they're like, "No, like, where are your people from?" I'm like, "Oh, like all over the fucking place. I'm a mutt." And maybe it doesn't matter because I've never been targeted because of the color of my skin, or if I have, it doesn't really matter. But I have no connection to whatever motherland I'm supposed to be from. Like, I am American. I eat American food. Like, that's the cuisine I like. Yeah, it's like, yeah, maybe I'm culturally Jewish. Like, there's a certain spot where those are kind of rituals, and especially the cuisine, hold in my background. But no, like that. It's like I have a very diverse group of friends and family, and it's never something I ever ask someone. It's like, maybe if language gets into it, like I can tell you have an accent, I'll ask like, "Oh yeah, where are you from?" But outside of that, I don't give a fuck. Like, I don't care if that's white privilege. Like, I think that's where we should move as America. If you have to hold on to the zeitgeist, like, if your diaspora that you're not even a part of, but your parents are from, if that matters to you, then you're part of the problem. You're making racial tensions exist. Once you're
Yeah, no,
here, once you're a citizen, it doesn't matter anymore. It's never mattered. It's like,
you
look
know,
at
there's
Wings. That whole, no, yeah, I'll fight for America too thing. The reason
yeah.
that worked then, the reason that works now is because that's how it should be.
Even though there is still there is still some prejudice there, or like limitations that are being imposed on there, where it's like, okay, it doesn't matter if you're German, you can't fucking fly, just because of that. So, but I mean, yeah, like ideally, I see what you're saying. You know, there is this thing. A part of the reasons of why I love Dope.
Hmm.
It's just, you know, the thesis of that movie. There's this line that always gets to me where Malcolm just says, like, specifically, like, as far as categories and definition, I don't fit in. You know, I'm a '90s hip hop geek.
Yeah.
Like, and it's just like, you know, he adds on saying, like, you know, when you don't fit in, you're forced to look at other perspectives. It's like, that is something I do relate to, not in his circumstances, but it's like, I'm a dual citizen, you know, like, and it's one of the weirdest things where it's like, okay, so what do you identify as, American, or like, you know, and when you're in America, it's like you're supposed to be like, oh, America's the greatest country in the world. It's like, I love that I'm from two different places, that I've spent enough time that I can say, like, you know, I've yet to see most of the world, but it's like, you know, you just realize, like, you can't strictly identify as American and pretend like America's the greatest fucking thing in the world. There's a whole fucking world out there of cool shit, you know, and it's just stupid, like, to just to fucking pigeonhole people in a category, you know, because it's like, I don't, it's just, I don't know.
It's like sometimes I take for granted that I'm from Long Beach, California, one of the most international / diverse cities in the world. Um, and that totally changes my mentality when I think about it from afar. Like, if someone's from bumfuck Nebraska, yeah, you know, they've probably only ever known white people. All their friends and family
They
are
don't see a
white. Their
black man
church
until
is
they're
white.
28.
Yeah, something like that, you know, until
Yeah,
they
it's like
go on vacation. Like, I can understand what that
I
must
guess, to
be
be
like
honest,
to
yeah,
be
like,
in
living
middle
California
America.
too, like that was,
Well, not even
you
just
know, like,
California,
granted, Europe
though.
was a little, it was, well, it wasn't exactly as mixed. It was definitely more white, but then yeah, like in California, like I went to school there, and yeah, it was. I mean, I don't want to say even, but it was definitely multicultural to a point where, like, you grow up there and you just don't give a shit.
It's I don't know. It's just different being from where I am. That like I said, I'm kind of blinded by that. That I've had this golden opportunity all my life to be around a plethora of people from all kinds of backgrounds. I've been, not just taught, but had the luxury of enjoying different cuisine and learning about different cultures and learn different dance styles and all of these varied things that most people don't get unless they go to a cornucopia culture like New York City or LA or, like Rome. Like, you have to go to certain spots. And yet, I'm in this semi-large city that has a small town feel. And I remember vividly just flatly not liking white people until I hit college. I didn't really have any white friends. I didn't associate them. I didn't necessarily categorize myself as white. Like, I didn't see myself as that. It's just like, oh yeah, I'm a person. I found that most white people I've met I don't like. Like, that was something that I wore proudly. And just anytime, I mean, it doesn't happen frequently, but anytime I've ever encountered like privilege like that, especially over the internet, especially via strangers on mostly places such as Reddit or Twitter, it's like, you don't know a fucking thing about me. You don't even know what I look like, and you're gonna try to like push that kind of blame or that kind of prejudice in my direction. It's like, no. I don't play for that, and I definitely don't play for the kind of blame that's going on in terms of our president-elect. Like, grow up.
Well, no
like,
longer elect. Now he is the president.
Like,
Yeah.
if you have to point a finger at someone why your life is so shitty, you should be pointing at yourself. Like, if you're out there blaming a grown man for your troubles, no. He hasn't done anything to affect you yet. He won a popularity contest. Like, move on. Please move on for everyone. Like Shia LaBeouf, I think he's moved on. I think we should all move on to follow his lead, or maybe he's still doing it. Someone go
I
to
mean,
Huel, not
I'm
divide
not
us, and
quite
find out.
there yet. I mean, just like I don't want to get too political. It's like, but are some issues where I'm like, right on. Like, yeah, I am glad that there are protests. It does make me feel better that people speak out on certain things. But then, yes, there is stupid shit that gets out of hand. But we're not here to talk about that. So, what's a good segue?
Not necessarily a segue, but talking about protests and how people can all get behind something. There was a huge event or anti-event which happened this Wednesday. A command line typo on Amazon took down a lot of the internet. It was like the Amazon internet outage of 2017, I think was the hashtag. It took down, I can't remember how many different services, but basically what happened was some guy was trying to fix one error on one site that was tied through Amazon's S3 server cloud, and it took down like everything. And they had to reboot their systems, which is something that hasn't happened in like 10 years or something ridiculous. And I was asleep, thankfully, during this, but you couldn't use like Giphy. I think maybe like Etsy was down. Like, it was fairly popular shit. Like Facebook wasn't down or anything. Like, they have their
Yeah.
own servers. But like Amazon Instant Video, for instance, was down. Like Netflix weirdly was still up, even though they're on Amazon servers. But it was all kinds of stuff. But Wednesday was kind of cool, but Friday was big time. It was historic, matter of fact. I mean, like, obviously the Nintendo Switch launch, which I said I'd be coming back to, and I am in a second here. Logan hit theaters, which the both of us saw, and we put a review out on Dollar Reviews, episode 32. Or is it 36? 32?
I think 32. I don't know. I literally typed up the number a few days
Who
ago.
matters?
But,
It doesn't matter. We
yeah.
got an episode for that one. But more
Also,
importantly,
God, I haven't even looked at the box office numbers, but I'm
big
willing
time.
to bet it made money.
worldwide, like 220, US, like 86.
Really? Oh, okay.
Yeah, big time.
So not Deadpool, but definitely a hit.
Yeah. Like I said, I still predict the US box office being about 220, 200.
Oh, the Get Out is still kicking ass. Like, wow.
Blame Trump.
Just wow. That movie's at 75 after 10 days. Like 76 mil, actually.
Yeah, blame Trump for that one, guys.
75.9.
Big time.
Yeah, like, holy shit, that movie is kicking ass.
So yeah, new Nintendo system, new hard R X-Men movie. But better yet, the reason why Friday was historic, and this is kind of tied to dope, which you brought up a minute ago. For the first time in internet history, a cryptocurrency, Bitcoin, surpassed the price of 1 ounce of gold. I think it was like 1246 to 1245. It was, a shave of a hair off. But it was just super funny that this coin that only has value because we've declared it's worth money was worth more than a metal that we decided is worth money. Like, it's equally stupid that gold or a Bitcoin would have any kind of monetary value, but a fictional currency, something that only exists on the internet.
Wear jewelry and binary now or something? Like,
no,
what?
it doesn't mean anything. It was only a momentary thing. The price of commodities and the stock market goes up and down. So who's to say if Bitcoin is still worth more currently? But for the first time in history, it happened, which means, the Bitcoin could potentially surpass the gold standard or something like that. Like, it is now like a proven commodity. Like, it's got real worth. And it was just something that I thought was really funny when I was reading about it on Engadget. I was like, wow, maybe I'll watch Dope again.
It's an awesome movie, man. It's like, it's fun, man. Like, I've thrown it in the background a few times, so it's really good as that.
I just want to, I got a bigger list of things that I want to rewatch, obviously including Sing Street and the Before trilogy, and then obviously
there's stuff that's like
Swiss Army Man, and
I definitely rewatch stuff more often than you, but it's like on top of that, I also just have stuff on in the background a lot when I'm working. That's usually good for when I'm writing. But then there's some stuff that's good to have on for that.
It's like my only day off all week was yesterday, and so I just sat in bed all day, and most of my time in bed, I was, mind you, I was like on the internet, reading Twitter, formulating these show notes and such, but about like 8 hours of that, instead of watching a Simple Plan, I was watching Zelda Breath of the Wild Twitch gameplay, just to get an idea. Yeah, it looks.
People are raving over it.
No, yeah,
so,
it looks good, but mind you, this is a perfect Nintendo Switch segue. This is a brand new system. It's not too expensive. It's only $300. There's 5 games for it. One of those is Zelda, and that's on a different system. It's on the Wii U. The other 4 games no one gives a fuck about. You got Skylanders Imaginators, you got Just Dance 2017, 1-2 Switch, and Super Bomberman R. That's it. That's the launch lineup. There's not even digital games yet. There's like I Am Setsuna, which isn't a reason to buy the Switch. There's like Snipper Clips, which looks pretty cool. And it's only $20, so hey, if I had a Switch, I'd probably buy that too. But like even graphically speaking, the Wii U version of Zelda looks exactly like the Switch version. Like they're very comparable. But there's no library yet. Like the next big game that's coming out in a month and a half is gonna be Mario Kart 8. That was on the Wii U. Like a couple months after that, like maybe we'll get Elder Scrolls Skyrim. That's been out since like 2008. Like, oh my god, like or 2010 actually for Skyrim. But like almost every game that's gonna be on this thing, with the exception of Super Mario Odyssey, Christmas Time, and Splatoon 2, have existed otherwhere. I don't know. I don't know why people are buying it. I don't know why it's become such a thing. Like, anytime Nintendo puts a product out, or anytime any new video game system comes out in the last, like, 20 years, it's a huge event. But yeah,
there's a lot of Nintendo fans, man.
No, yeah, there are, but
yeah.
even more than that, like, just random people, especially scalpers. I've encountered several people this week that have at least 2 units. And they're not looking to, personally have them. They're looking to flip it and make some money. And, those are my least favorite people in the world. But, like, there's just several problems with the system thus far. Most notably, the TV dock that's what you put the Switch in to go from handheld to TV mode. It scratches the system. So if you don't have a screen protector or some kind of cover for it, please get one. Better yet, if you have a system skin, so you have like basically a sticker on your Switch so it looks a certain way, don't use those either because it's damaging the plastic that houses the unit. Like there's certain games that are going to be out that are only going to work in handheld mode. I would assume that also means there's going to be games that only work in TV mode and not handheld mode. It just, as of yet, especially with like the flub that happened with the day 1 patch in terms of bringing friend codes back and a couple other problems, including the desyncing that happens with certain Joy-Cons in the system. If you don't have one yet, don't buy one. It's $300 for something that has nothing to do on it. Like, just the idea that you're buying a 7-inch tablet, that is actually pretty cool. That has these great controllers. At least I want to believe they are, so I'll have to use them in my hands. I've held a unit, but I haven't used it. You can't watch Netflix on it. You can't web browse. You can't take pictures. Like, you can't do shit with it. It's a tablet that's worthless as of today. It literally does nothing but play Zelda. If you want to play Zelda, awesome. It looks great. I watched like 8 hours of gameplay. It looks really, really good. However, it looks good for a Nintendo game. Final Fantasy 15, Horizon Zero Dawn, again, Fallout 4. I could list a lot of open-world adventure games that surpass this game, that have very similar features, and also include things such as DLC and online matchmaking, or maybe a season pass that doesn't come with a t-shirt that says Nintendo Switch on it for your Link character. Like, this is probably the most asinine thing that I've learned about Zelda Breath of the Wild. Link in this game carries around something that's called a Sheikah slate, which looks exactly like the Switch, and every time you go somewhere, someone's like, oh my god, you have one of those, that's so cool. It's, man, they added like a teleport option in this game, so you can just fast travel anywhere, and like it turns into a digital, like it's so weird. Like, please watch gameplay for this thing, because it looks really cool, but just in terms of how it fits into like Zelda lore, and how it's been modernized, is really bizarre. With that all being said, I want to play it. I will play it eventually, but it's not enough to sell the system. I would have probably bought one if they gave me the game for free, but the idea that you have to find one of these $300 systems, which is not easy, and you have to buy this $60 game on top of it, plus like a SD card for storage, plus like a carrying case, plus a screen protector, like you're doing more than $400 on something that can only play video games, which in this generation of gaming, or in just the modern era which we find ourselves in, is pretty pathetic. Even the 3DS has YouTube and Netflix. And, mind you, glasses-less 3D, which is, if you've never used a 3DS, especially a newer model, the 3D is actually really fucking good.
Really?
Yeah, like really. Like you'd be
It's like
surprised.
I know it exists, but I've
Like
never experienced it.
go to a Best Buy, go to a Target, go to a GameStop, go find a place that has one. You probably will. Do it soon because they might be disappearing because Switch is out there now.
Hmm.
But yeah, the glassesless 3D is so good that it's almost like dumbfounding that they weren't able to use the same tech in TVs.
Like how much? Yeah, well, that's what they were working on. It. They might still be working on it.
Well,
I
the
don't know.
reason why those TVs
Probably less
never
so now, but
those TVs didn't come off the ground because they didn't work with multiple eyes at the same time, whereas the 3DS is for one person in particular.
I
Um,
was thinking. So can you like move your head a tiny bit and have no problems there
yeah,
whatsoever?
the second generation, the new Nintendo 3DS, yeah, no problem. The tracking is actually really magnificent. The first one you couldn't move at all, but the second generation, yeah, really good. Like trust me, go out there and find one before they become obsolete because it's fascinating. Especially like I said, watching YouTube content in native
Hmm.
3D is good. It could have saved 3D gaming, right? Or 3D period, and it just is a little too late because hey, Nintendo and fuck them, and they make mistakes from left to right. Here's some Mobile World Congress news that actually happened last week, but we didn't talk about it because, hey, I was too busy with the Oscars. Three really cool things, the three best things at the show, in my opinion. The first of which is the Nokia 3310 made a reappearance. It's a rebooted. If you don't know that name, it's the iconic Nokia phone that everyone had before the Motorola Razr came out. There's no touchscreen on this. There's no apps. This is just a generic original phone. What's impressive about this is that it has 30 days of standby time and something ridiculous like 24 hours of talk time. It has Snake Even, which everyone loved back then. It has like updated features such as like a micro SD card for music, and it has a camera and like GPS, but it doesn't do Facebook. Like it's not meant for web browsing. It's strictly meant for people that don't want a smartphone or maybe like a side smartphone for business or like a side phone for business, and they don't want their battery dying when they're in the middle of texting someone or something like that. Really cute. So that's on the low end of the spectrum, like a throwback. It's probably gonna be like $50 and coming out in a couple months. The high end, I've talked a lot on the show about this kind of thing because I'm a Sony fanboy. I have a Sony phone. If you listen to a Logan episode, I talk about like, oh, why the fuck was there a Sony smartphone in the movie? Sony has a 4K phone. It's the Sony Xperia Z5 Premium. I wanted one. Don't want one anymore. It's because they showed off its successor. It's the Xperia XZ Premium, and it's the world's first 4K HDR phone. I want to use one. The fact that this phone has a better display than most TVs have is pretty awesome. It doesn't just have an awesome screen too. Of course, it can shoot 4K HDR content. It also has an image processor which is capable of shooting 960 frame per second videos. They can only last about 14 seconds, so it's perfect for like, oh, you're at a football game and you want to get your son's like touchdown drive or something. But that's in 4K. Like I don't even know if like the Ari Alexa can do that. Like this is as premium as it gets, and the name fits. Hopefully this one comes to America, unlike the Z5 Premium. I want it. I want it real bad. I want to replace my Sony Xperia Z3 with this thing. I need to see what this is like in the flesh. I hope it lands stateside. Otherwise, it's going to be only available through Unlocked on Amazon, which the Z5 currently is. But yeah, just the fact that Sony is swinging for the fences when everyone is like complacent with doing 2K screens or Quad HD or
Apple.
IPS. If Apple doesn't wow in a couple of months, if they don't have a 4K display,
And they'll
yeah.
just probably show off their new watches and be like, "Hey, no one else has got these."
Apple Watch is dead. No one
People
cares
wear
about
them. No, no,
Yeah,
people
no,
wear
yeah,
them.
I see
A
them
lot of
too.
people wear them.
Smartwatches are dead, man. It was a phase that the industry thought consumers wanted, kind of like
Yeah.
3D TVs.
I think it's stupid, but people still wear them.
It's like Android Wear 2.0. It just launched. That's like the reboot of the Android watches. That's not going to go anywhere. It's like one smart device is enough for most people. You don't need another screen. Like this is all I want in a smartwatch. I want the exact piece of shit 80s Casio that I have with a little bar at the top that lets me know when I get a phone call or a text message or I have an appointment. That's all I want. I don't want a touchscreen. I don't want apps. I want to be able to pay with it. I literally just want push notifications from my phone in a shitty watch. I don't want to have to charge it every day. I want a battery that lasts like 5 years.
And honestly, I'm waiting for the day when they got bracelets that shoot out holograms and they vibrate to give you notifications.
I think
and
it was
small and compact enough.
I'm not sure if it was Samsung or LG, but someone showed off a bendable smartphone that you wear as a bracelet at MWC. Mind you,
this is... we get holograms, that's when it's all good.
This is a prototype in the same way that I want to say this one is LG, or maybe it's Sharp. They have a transparent TV currently where... You got to find a video of this because it's hard to describe, but basically it's like a glass cabinet. You can slide the door open and close, and then you press a button, and then it turns into a TV. And then you press a button again, and it turns into a glass cabinet. Like, it's literally transparent. Like, really, really cool. The little last piece of MWC news is the Samsung Gear VR. There's a new one because every year, every new Samsung Galaxy device, there's a new VR headset to go along with it. This one is mostly the same. However, it has a motion controller now, much in the same way as Oculus, which is in cahoots with Samsung on the Gear VR devices, or the Google Daydream. So hopefully this means that motion controllers come more natively and we can adopt more input methods. And we're going to leave this off. The last little piece of VR news before we break. Oculus did something huge this week. The biggest thing they could have possibly done, the saddest thing they could have possibly done, and also happy for consumers out there, they've dropped the price on the Rift with touch controllers by $200. It's gone from $800 for the Oculus Rift and touch controllers down to $599, or if you like to get them separately, $499 for just the headset and $99 for the pair of touch controllers. That's super cheap. That's only $100 more than... Well, it's not even $100 more. That's the same exact price as getting a PSVR with the required camera and Move controllers. They're at the same point now. Obviously, the difference is you can get a PS4 for $250 or $300. The cheapest computer that can run VR content is like in the $800 range. So it still has a much higher, not just introduction point, but also the content isn't quite on the same thing. If you want games, don't do Oculus because... Yeah. But I wonder, like, is this them trying to make up for that ZeniMax payout? I mean, they just had to give, like, $1.5 billion to ZeniMax over, like, trade secrets, basically. But they showed off a whole bunch of different VR headsets at Game Developers Conference, or GDC, as it's known. LG, for instance, demoed their own Steam VR headset. You know, HTC Vive is out there. This is the other one. Doesn't have a name yet. What's stand this out from the rest of the pack is, I mean, you've used my VR headset. The PSVR currently has the best feature in terms of interacting with other people, in that you can use the scope and slide it back and forth so you can see the real world. This LG headset can literally flip straight up, laterally, so it's out of your face completely without having to actually take the whole thing off. So I hope that's a design that goes forward in all VR headsets. It seems like it works perfectly. Matter of fact, Microsoft with their own VR and mixed reality actual headsets has the very same thing, at least in the Acer one that was at GDC. So I can't wait for the PSVR 2 to do this whenever that's announced, or whatever other headsets. I think this is the end-all be-all for VR headsets in terms of design. Perfect weight model, put it on your head, get it out of your face, because if I need to take a water break or my eyes are hurting, the process of taking the actual headset completely off and setting it down somewhere and then having to do it again, it's hard to explain. It's kind of like getting up and going back to bed. It's like, no, once I'm out of bed, I don't want to go back in. It's kind of a similar curve such as that. And
it is weird. Like, you can't exactly, it's like once you got 3D Blu-rays for VR, it's like, I imagine, like, well, how is it that you like snack on something while you're watching it, you know?
Right. I mean, luckily...
Like, where do you set your... like, I guess if you got, like, a cup holder in an armchair or something, then that's... like kind of easy to get a drink, but
luckily, I'm not really a movie snacker, not even in theaters, so that shouldn't be an issue. But yeah, drinking
it
water.
still is a thing. Like
Yeah,
just for just a
I'm
general
probably
watcher, or anyone that has the headset on. Like, how do you?
I'm probably just gonna invest in straws, to be honest, because that's the easiest solution. It's close to impossible to actually drink from a bottle or a canteen or something with the headset on, even when you pull the scope out. It's just not doable. It feels very awkward to have that much weight because the weight distribution is really fantastic when you're in a normalized head position. But when you tilt your head back that far in the motion of drinking something, it feels really foreign. And I'm not looking to pause the movie to take the headset off to drink something. No. But yeah, I'm going to assume that the update allowing 3D Blu-ray playback is going to be coming out this week. I thought it was going to be this week, matter of fact, this past week. So if it is, I'm going to have lots of Penny Thoughts coverage on that. Probably Tron Legacy is going to be the first one I do, just because I haven't seen that since I saw it in IMAX 3D. I really want to with the Tron news we talked about at the top of the show, and it's the one that I wanted to buy the most. Yeah, I remember how cool the 3D was in that movie.
It's like I wonder how the aspect ratio switches would work, like, or just how they would feel with a VR headset on.
I'm more concerned with
like
resolution,
depth,
to be honest.
But it's like, yeah, how does that work though? I'm just curious.
I'm curious about the resolution and also the sound. I want to know.
But like also just, I mean, the effects for movies, they're better rendered than for games, I would think, unless just the resolution was not.
No, the headset
great for Batman. I don't know. I mean, I don't want to nitpick, but
no, the headset itself, the display in the PlayStation VR, maxes. It's not full 1080p. Like it is a 1080 display, but because it's split between both eyes, it isn't. So it's not going to be a full HD picture, which isn't too weird because even if you have a 1080p 3D TV, it cuts that in half, so you're actually seeing 720p per eye, which is probably going to be what's close to on the headset, except there's lack of crosstalk and a couple other features, not having to need to put batteries in the glasses, for instance, to get the best picture possible with active shutter shades. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if I'll be able to watch an entire 2-hour movie with the headset on. I'll probably have to take an intermission because to date, I think the most I've ever worn the headset for is about maybe like an hour and 5 minutes or something like that. I mean, matter of fact, if you guys want, you can go to twitch.tv/csstrife or cstrife991, and I've been like live streaming some VR games lately, mostly for me, just so I have like a chronicle of my gameplay, especially in Thumper, so I can watch the gameplay and learn the button presses as kind of like a studying mechanism. But even still, you like in the most recent video, well, they did like get if you do a broadcast now on Twitch, same thing on YouTube, it saves it for future reference. And so you can watch it, and I did like commentary, and it's mostly me getting really upset about losing and shit. But yeah, I'll see. Maybe I'll do that for more. Maybe I'll like kind of like cross promote it on our Twitter or something. But yeah, if you want to hear some more VR and gaming news, there's gonna be a lot after that. After we pimp ourselves out, I'm taking another water break, and with a water break means another ad break. We're gonna do something different. Why don't you tell them how they could advertise us, Steve?
How they could advertise us?
Or advertise with us.
Advertise with. Okay, yeah. See, when you phrase that differently, it's like, well, you can work with us, and we can put a spot in right here.
Right here.
We can do it anyway. Like we could do a fun little radio play bit or something. Maybe Brian might do some. I don't know. Or we just read off whatever it is that you give us. We will do it any way that you would like on this show. Anything that would be creative and fun, or just if you want to name drop, that makes it easy, and it's very economical time wise. And then we can pimp you guys out on social media as well. Just throw your brand name and say, hey, so and so presents 2 cents on dollar reviews. There you go, and then we give you a special shout out. Yeah, and if we can even give listeners deals on your products. To give incentive to invest in that. Whatever have you.
It's like I got bad knees, so maybe I won't drop down, but I got no problem getting my back for you guys if you want to fuck us over, especially if you want to throw some money in our face. Make it rain. Make it rain on them hoes. So yeah.
He does put in a lot more in this show than I do.
I put a lot of work. So I put a lot of work, not just on this, and it's a mutual work. It's not just me. Our other show that we do is Dollar Reviews, and we do that, I'd say once a month. That's about right. This past week we did Logan, a good movie. Check it out.
Very much
We
so.
do other. Anytime there's a superhero movie, either one or the both of us do it. So you'll either hear it on Penny Thoughts or, which is on this show, or you'll hear it on Dollar Reviews. It's maybe even a few dollars more. So Batman vs Superman, Suicide Squad, for sure. Wonder Woman in the coming months. Justice League later this year. Spider-Man: Homecoming. That's a lock. So is probably Thor: Ragnarok and Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. If it has tights and they're flying and they have superpowers, we're going to talk about it, even if they're just stopping ghosts. Do award contenders too, or indie darlings. So this past year, we did Elle, La La Land, Green Room, Swiss Army Man, Sing Street. And we both did our own reviews of Moonlight, just not together. All kinds of stuff. And if you're into more risque content, Magic Mike XXL. It's our most listened to episode of all time. I don't know why, but hey. Maybe you should check it out. The numbers don't lie.
I still got to re-listen to that, I guess, at some point.
Our other show we do,
That's
though...
almost 2 years ago now.
Yeah, just about. The other show that we do, though, is Debt to Cinema, and that's our much more popular content. It's a semi-topical Less is Shame thing. So this week we have a simple plan because of Bill Paxton's untimely passing. The week before we did Wings in honor of the Oscars. It's like, hey, it's the first Best Picture winner. Maybe you should check that out eventually. All the President's Men, because, hey, it was President's Day, and this presidency kind of called for it. My Bloody Valentine was our Valentine's Day selection. Right before that, we did Time Crimes for Groundhog's Day. That's become a thing on the show. It's an annual tradition, or twice annual now. Dance from the Dark, was there a reason for that? Oh, it was a fan
That was a
selection.
listener pick, yeah.
And Nine Lives, there was no reason. It was just, hey, I want to see this.
Yeah, I don't know how to be topical for daylight savings. So
Is that going to be your pick?
No idea what daylights is that actually? Is there a horror holiday movie called Daylight Savings?
There's a horror flick. You could do 30 Days a Night, but I've already seen that. Oh, no, I saw that. That came out in like 2008 because I saw that in theaters.
I'm not in a horror mood right now. No. Plus, there's The Fly that's going to be in 3 weeks from now, I think. If we're still doing that, right?
It's like I really do. I think my last time I saw the horror was it was like 2011. Like I still want to double check
Fright
that.
Night?
Yeah, like Fright Night, Scream 4, your Soul to Take. Like it had to be that. Like I highly
doubt.
doubt.
None of those are in particular scary, like at all. Like Fright Night is fun. Scream 4
they're
is,
not, but they are
good.
They're all in the horror genre.
My Soul to Take was funny as hell.
Not on purpose.
No, not on purpose
I'm
at all.
so-
It ended up being so laughably
I'm
bad.
so happy Wes Craven got to do Scream 4 as his final movie.
Indeed, yeah.
So fucking happy.
Like My Soul to Take, like that's one of the movies that got screwed over. Like, well,
That was on a
just-
shelf for like 2
it was on
years for a
shelf,
reason.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then they decided to put it in 3D. Like
for a
I
very
remember the
good
trailers
reason.
going like, "There's a new dimension of fear in 3D." That was like post Avatar, where they were really whoring the shit out.
Oh man, I forgot.
amazing.
I forgot about this. I bought a comic book. I don't know if I talked about this on the show, but I bought a comic book a couple months back, and I just bought it because it's like the first issue of some Batman run that doesn't exist anymore. And I opened it the other day, and there's a poster for Shocker in the middle, which is awesome because that movie might not be good. I haven't seen the whole thing, but I know it's like one of his worst films. But when I flipped it open, I was like, fuck yeah, that's cool. Like I was like, I'd buy that for $1. I did. I didn't know about the poster, but hey, maybe I'll get this framed someday or something, or maybe just leave it in the comic for like nostalgia purposes. But yeah, as you can hear, we do a lot of content. This show is once a week. Debt to Cinema is once a week. This one comes out Monday mornings. Debt to Cinema is Wednesday mornings. Dollar Reviews is whenever it happens. Usually comes out on a Friday or Saturday, sometimes on Sunday. But it happens, and all 3 shows do, and there's also a few dollars more. And there's one episode of Drunken Dollars, which is dead, but maybe it could come back sometime. But yeah, all of that, Patreon. You could support us. It would help. It would go a very, very long way, even if it just fuels my Lego Dimension buying spree, which I'm still on. I bought Aquaman today, also the 2016 Ghostbusters story pack, and the 1980s Ghostbusters level. So I have Peter Venkman and whatever the fuck, what's her name's character was in Ghostbusters this past year. No. I'm talking.
No.
I'm talking about the all-girl Ghostbusters, the ghost
I
gals.
really don't know.
Who knows?
Played by who?
any of them. It's actually technically all of them. It's not Peter Venkman, it's the whole crew, and then for the 2016 movie, it's the whole crew also.
All right.
Which is kind of cool. But hey, yeah, I got those both. All three of those today, because I need to stop spending money on Legos.
Seriously, man, I'm surprised that you got that much to spend.
I don't.
I mean,
I really,
man.
really don't. Like, I think I can maybe quit for a minute here, just because I have like all the ones I really want, and the rest I'll just wait until they're like really cheap again. Because I have like, yeah, I want the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man. I want Cyborg. I really want Sonic the Hedgehog. Goonies is coming out in a couple of weeks. I kind of want that one. Powerpuff Girls later this year. I'm definitely buying that. Like, there's no doubt about
man,
it.
watch your money, man. I mean, I'm amazed, honestly, that I can get by the way that I do. Like, if I was a smoker, I would be in debt.
Yeah, no, well, like, that's the thing.
That's like, so many of my friends smoke cigarettes, and then they ask me how I can spend money on this shit. I'm like, well, I don't buy packs of cigarettes weekly.
See,
so.
that's the thing. It's like, when I started getting into Lego Dimensions, I stopped drinking. I was going to the bar, like, once a week average. I don't do that anymore. So that $20 or so that I would spend on one day at the bar, I can buy like one or two Lego packs. And it's a different investment.
Mm-hmm.
It's still spending the money. It's just, in a certain way, it's a wiser investment. You know, it's not bad for my health. It's just
like you got to decide on your vices and how much they can be cost effective. You can take pleasure in the little things and not spend too much.
It's kind of getting out of hand, but hey, it's making me happy in the meanwhile, and I'd much rather. It's like I've spent. I want to say I've probably spent like around $160 all in on Legos, but that's like I have almost entire first year content. I have every single first year level pack. I have 2 of the 3 story packs. I have the starter pack. I have the rare characters Supergirl and Green Arrow. I have all the Simpsons characters, like Lord of the Rings, Ninjago, I'm only missing 1. Chima, I'm only missing 1. I got the Back to the Future. I got some of the DC stuff. Like, yeah, like, I got a lot. I got a lot of them. Like, I don't have room for them. I really don't. Like, I was actually thinking earlier, I was like, I have to come up with some kind of storage solution. I'll come up with something good, and it'll be fun. But jumping from my gaming obsession to gaming news, and this kind of ties movies into gaming because, hey, that's kind of what this show is. Despite Avatar 2 and its sequel still being missing in action, Fox has announced that Ubisoft is making another video game. Who knows when this is actually coming out? Perhaps with Pandora opening this summer at Disney World, we'll get a release date for Avatar 2 soon? Maybe for this video game soon? Maybe the game will come out before the movie to remind people that the franchise still exists.
Can you believe that the first sequel was supposed to come out this year?
The first sequel was supposed to come out like 2 years ago.
No, it was supposed to. It was supposed to come out.
They've delayed it every year.
Like, yeah, in 2014, I think that was the first one.
No, I think it was
2016.
2016. I think it was 2016.
Jeez, I don't know anymore, man.
It went from 16 to 17, and now it's 18, we swear. And then after... That's the promise, though, that after the second movie comes out, after this first sequel comes out, there's going to be another one every single year. It's going to go 2018, 2019, 2020, 2021. Like, just back-to-back years.
Probably going to be some like Zoe Saldana and Sam Worthington are just going to be shooting for like a year and a half straight, like 3 or 4
No, I think they've already shot all the movies, to be honest, because think about how much CG work went into that first film, plus making it 3D, just creating Pandora. Like, all they got to do is just like a video game. Like, the process, or not even video game, just any actual CG movie. Like, look at Toy Story. The very first thing they do is do the voice acting. Well, in this case,
yeah, but they spend years doing that though, because it's not like they have one recording session, then they just go. They're fixing stuff all the way up to release.
Yeah, it
animation.
depends on the movie, but like for instance, like Andy Serkis's Jungle Book, I'm positive they've wrapped filming on that. They've just been converting the mocap into the movie and doing the CG
but
creation.
James Cameron, it's never good enough. He's always got to push it in some way. So. I don't know. Who knows? I mean, because they were shooting Avatar like for like 2.5 years before it even came out.
Avatar took so long that they started the Titanic 3D conversion when that was still like being post, I think.
that was a lot of things for that because it was a restoration and then a conversion. Like they had to do a full-on like 2D restoration and clean it up before they even touched
It's like
anything.
And
to
they made
convert.
Aliens of the Deep during that process too. Like James Cameron wasn't doing nothing. Like he was busy.
Yeah,
He was
he is always busy. He's doing like ocean work all the time. He's always doing
Entourage.
something. So.
He was on a couple episodes of Entourage. But no, that was like at the beginning of Avatar.
I think they just pointed a camera at a helicopter and then just let him talk for a bit. And that was
he's like in 2 or 3 episodes. Like
Yeah.
he's not just in one.
I just remember him in that episode.
He's in-
Like, I never watched all of them.
It's
I
like a-
kind of
it-
skimmed through it.
He crosses over a season. It's the end of one season. He's on the season finale, the Sundance Kids, and then the season premiere, the following season, he's like on 2 episodes for Aquaman. It was a real. It wasn't just a cameo. Like it was a supporting role for a couple
Aquaman
episodes.
didn't take long to shoot, so I don't see why Avatar.
I would still love an Aquaman. I mean, it's not happening, but
There will be a cameo, I'm sure.
imagine
There's gonna have to be an inside joke.
Like,
Okay, they're both
either-
owned by Warner
it's
Brothers.
like
They can't blow that opportunity.
either Adrian Grenier shows up in this movie, or James Cameron gets a cameo. I want either or. Anyone from Entourage in this Aquaman standalone film. Anything. Speaking
I'm
of,
sure there's gonna be a reference to it.
Speaking of, probably the biggest thing that happened this week that's not on the show, but now that I'm thinking about it, it is. Zack Snyder tweeted footage on his birthday of
I know you love
of
it. You love
Aquaman
it.
in the water. Man, it's so good. I love
And
his
the movie's gonna
teases.
come out, and then you're gonna be like, "Fuck you, Zack."
No,
Snyder, you
Justice League is
fucking
going to be so good. Like, no. What I really hope happens is Wonder Woman does like a Dracula Untold / like Captain America First Avenger type thing, where the whole film is in the past, and then in the final 5 to 10 minutes it comes to the present, and then it just sets up Justice League. Because they're going to be 4 months apart.
Well, I mean, it is the Captain America because that
Yeah.
was the one right before Avengers.
These-
So
these are
I
4
don't
months
know if
apart,
it's
though.
Dracula Untold, but
It's the same thing. It's the same deal.
no,
you know?
they're like 5.
It's
4
like
months,
4.5,
whatever.
5. Like,
Yeah.
by the time Wonder Woman leaves theaters, it's going to be 3 months left. You know? So, yeah.
The smart move to do would make a post-credit sequence with the trailer attached to the end of the movie rather than the beginning of it.
I don't want
Because
that.
that's what they did for the Avengers when they ended Captain America, and that worked.
Yeah.
I mean, I would rather like
No,
have the build up
like,
rather than have a trailer for Justice League.
Dawn of
and then
Justice
watch
was
something
already our
else.
build-up. Like, I just want a moment.
It's like
maybe
get people hyped, have them
No,
enjoy
just
one
like-
thing, and then get them excited for the next one. Don't have them get excited for the next one right before.
No, I just want like
they're
a
watching
quick,
something else.
like a real quick moment of like maybe Wonder Woman in the Batcave, something like that. Like not deep, not like set up the movie in terms of like a plot line or anything. Just like something more than nothing, something that you kind of sink your teeth in and you go, oh man,
We'll
I
see
gotta
what they
buy
do,
my
man.
ticket already, kind of thing.
We'll see what they do.
We'll see. Yeah, this movie better be fucking good. I swear.
You said it was going to be good.
It's gonna be good, but it
Are you
better.
doubting
be.
it now?
I'm not doubting it. I'm just saying it better be good.
And how was Batman versus Superman when you first saw it?
Real bad.
Was it? You
I was
somewhat enjoyed it.
no, I didn't. I enjoyed the final 30 minutes. I was
How
dumbfounded.
bad could that theatrical cut
I was
be? 'Cause I'm-
dumbfounded. You gotta watch it one day. I was dumbfounded when I left my theater. I walked away in silence to my car, just drove home thinking, fuck, I gotta do a review for this thing right now. I got home and I was just like, I really don't want to talk about this.
I mean, I kind of just kept sugarcoating the thing the whole time because I was just like, well, I had no idea. I still don't know what I saw
Don't-
anymore.
You
Like,
own this movie. Watch the theatrical version someday. Find out for yourself.
I just don't have the. I
Do
would rather
it.
watch the Ultimate Edition if
No,
I want to
you
watch.
should
the
do
movie.
it.
Well, I got the 3D Blu-ray,
See?
so if I want to watch it in 3D,
Find
I'll do
out
that.
how bad a studio can butcher a movie in order to get more tickets opening weekend. Just find out. Find out.
It's been done before.
I
but sure.
have seriously considered snapping that theatrical copy Blu-ray.
If it didn't have all the bonus features on it.
Exactly. If that didn't exist, if there's a way that I could like find where that is on the disc and scratch that layer off, that'd be cool. But I can't because that's not how digital content works.
It can't be that bad.
It's
man.
pretty bad.
Alright.
But anyway, Avatar 2, hopefully that's coming soon. If it isn't, maybe this video game becomes first, given Ubisoft's track record as of late with licensed material. referencing Star Trek Bridge Crew and also South Park: The Fractured But Whole. It's probably going to get delayed, but hey, that's perfect for a movie that's been delayed so many times. Moving from one video game movie or movie video game to another, Paranormal Activity, the franchise that we thought was over, is not. It's not quite dead. Its VR game is going to be coming this month or so. Its early access begins March 14th. This actually sounds really good. I'm not going to buy it, obviously. But it's going to stand apart from the rest of VR games as of yet because it's going to have RNG jump scares. RNG is a video game term for random number generation. So what that means is every time you play this, it's going to be a little bit different. In the account that I read, the person that did the preview at GDC said, like, he was walking up the stairs and expecting a jump scare. Sure enough, there was one, and then like a light bulb burned out. But then his colleague, there was no light bulb that burned out. Instead, like a book flew off the bookshelf. It's claimed to have like 10 hours of playtime, which is substantially more than Resident Evil 7, which to date is the biggest VR experience possible, or not experience, but game. This is a lot less of a game, though. This is a kind of like big house that you just have to follow the breadcrumbs and like figure out the puzzles type of thing. Like there isn't shotguns and flamethrowers and all this shit that's in Resident Evil 7. But yeah, I'm sure this is gonna probably get really good reviews too. I think
it would scare. Just
no, it will.
When you have the headphones on and you just have that low pitched hum with the deep bass, that'll unnerve the shit out of people. Because that is really what helps those movies.
I have 2 horror VR games. I haven't played either of them, and I don't plan to anytime soon. It's good enough that I've gotten through my fear of Thumper, and I've been playing that. Okay, like that was a baby step.
It's the sound of Paranormal Activity in that atmosphere that's just going to be creepy as fuck.
It's more than sound. It's the fact that a jump scare on a flat screen.
Like that's what
a jump scare on a flat screen, especially with sound design, you can anticipate it happening. And if you cover your ears, for instance, it's not scary. However, when you're in an interactive environment and someone could literally be following you and you turn around and you see them jump in front of you, like shit like that, like when you think about how you can get scared in like a haunted house environment,
it's the sound
but in
that
the
does
real
it
world.
For Paranormal Activity, though, is like, yes, like things could happen on screen. You could be watching that movie on TV, off TV speakers, and it would just be like, okay, I'm waiting for something to happen. But for that, when you're in a theater and you just have that humming, like, just creep over you, it is so unnerving that like you're just gonna be uncomfortable when something just comes right in front of you. And like, yeah, for VR, if you got headphones on for that,
you have to have headphones.
Fuck yeah, no, like it's definitely gonna get to you.
No, I'm not gonna play this one, but we'll see what kind of reviews it gets. The only thing that I hope
will creep me out. I'm pretty sure. Like
the only thing, seriously,
that series gets to me, man.
The only thing I hope that happens here, especially if the game is amazing, is that they don't bring the film franchise back. Keep it dead. Don't do a Saw. Don't make a Saw legacy. Just keep it dead. Let it die. If you want to start a VR Paranormal Activity franchise, all for it. Go for it. If something works once, do it again. But leave those films alone. They lasted long enough.
Cinema's not, the gimmick got milked out for cinema quite.
I mean, it's bad enough that Resident Evil 7 has found footage elements. Okay, just don't leave it alone with Blumhouse, please. Don't.
Well, it's Paramount too.
Even still, both of you guys, don't let this game.
They can put down $3 million.
Don't make the game
like 50 more.
Be amazing and then decide to bring the movie back. Just don't, please, from all of us, especially me. Going from gaming to how you can watch gaming, I got 2 quick news items here, and they're both really cool. The first one is from a company called Genvid, which unveiled an interactive VR streaming platform at GDC. This sounds really cool. It's going to allow viewers on YouTube or Twitch or the like to explore worlds inside VR headsets. So that's like, it's going to let you pick different camera angles, rewind gameplay, change your field of view, stuff like that, to give you a better understanding of what a VR streamer is actually experiencing. Because I don't know if this is necessarily going to fix this, but currently, I was talking about broadcasting VR gameplay. It's a really isolated experience so far. Like, I don't know if it's the same on all VR platforms, but on PSVR in particular, because it's the only one that I've, broadcast on. A big part of video game live streaming, or live streaming period, is interacting with your viewership. seeing the comments, answering questions, making them laugh, just that sense of community you get. And in VR, it's an isolating experience in and of itself. But when you're broadcasting, there's no real notification system at play currently on PSVR, so you don't know like who's commenting, who's there, if anyone's even present. So maybe this Gen Vid is going to allow some kind of interaction with the audience. I'm not sure. That's like a pipe dream for me because I would totally Twitch stream again like I used to if I was able to bring my VR gameplay, like just make it more present because it's lame as of yet. Like they're the only way that PlayStation allows you to view what comments have happened is by pausing gameplay, going in through a menu, going to where it says view comments, and when you pull that menu up, the viewers can no longer see something. Like it blocks that gameplay screen. So outside of like using a secondary screen, which I have many of in my room, I don't currently have a method of checking comments, and it's not something that I've even tried to do. Like I said, this is purely for like playback at a later date is what I'm doing. But yeah, hopefully GenVid can do that. The other piece of the puzzle, like I said, this might be coming to Twitch, is Twitch themselves. This is actually a really big thing. They're going to be offering, or not offering, but they're going to begin selling digital copies of games you're currently watching while in a stream. So you're going to be in the room, someone's going to be playing Resident Evil 7, and you're going to have an option right on the right that says purchase. It's going to be digital, currently, all PC stuff. I doubt they're going to be able to bring this to PlayStation or Xbox, but who knows, that'd be cool. Especially because Amazon already offers digital downloads for both of those platforms, and even Nintendo. So purchases are going to be coming in loot crates, which is like random additional content ranging from DLC, Twitch emotes, or even cheer, which is a currency that's present on Twitch, which is separate from subscribing or donating. Partnered streamers are going to begin 5% of the sale, which means 70% of the rest of it is going to be going to the studio, and then the rest will go to Amazon. So 25% cut isn't bad. EA, Activision, Valve, Blizzard, and other AAA companies aren't currently part of the new market venture, but that's probably going to change. This is easily like the best thing because Twitch, it's notable for a lot of stuff, but like I said, I watched about 8 hours of Zelda gameplay this week. In the off chance that I had a Nintendo Switch and I didn't have Zelda and I watched that much gameplay, I was inspired enough that I would have picked up the game. And there have been a couple of times where I've watched gameplay and gone, yeah, I kind of want this game, and then ended up buying it. And so to cut that middleman out, literally to utilize Amazon's distribution platform for web commerce and embed it within an entity that they fully own is just really brilliant. Like they've already, conjoined Twitch Prime with Amazon Prime, and to bring this full circle and to add something like this, I think is really brilliant. I don't know if games are already available, but they are going to be soon. Like I said, I think this is truly going to take off when it's going to be an option on PlayStation and Xbox, when it's not just a PC platform. Because every month you get a free game from Twitch Prime. I think currently it's like the Banner Saga 2, but they've only been PC games. And if they could somehow break into the console market, especially with the launch of Switch just happening, Twitch could really go to the stratosphere. Really, really cool. Only a couple more things left on the show, and these are all monetization things as well. All digital platform marketplaces type things. 5port, which we've talked about on the show. HEC is a subscription service, kind of like the Netflix for VR. It's going to be $7 a month. It's going to allow users to download 5 apps or games at a time from the library, and they're going to rotate every month or so. With this one, developers are going to be getting 60% of the revenue, and the rest going to HTC. I don't know if it's available yet, but it's going to be. Some of the bigger things are going to be like Google Earth VR, Tilt Brush, probably Job Simulator. All of the greatest hits currently. It's basically like every VR developer that is on Steam VR has applied to be part of this. And so it's a really great model, especially with the way that VR content works. It's like the price point isn't too high. You pay $10 to well, like $10 to $60 depending on what it is, but the average price point is about $20. And generally speaking, you play it, you like it, you don't like it. Maximum, it depends on what it is. If you're looking like a linear game, like maybe you'll get like 5 hours of gameplay, and then maybe you'll play it another time down the future. Something like Thumper, which I've been playing a good amount lately, that's like you'll spend about like 40 minutes per level, and there's 10 levels, so that's a lot of gameplay. But then something like Batman, which you played, you do that, it's a one and done. So Batman would be like the perfect example for this, except Batman's only on PlayStation VR currently. But for those single time experiences, instead of paying, $20, $30, $40, it's brilliant that there's now a subscription service at play on the most popular VR platform not owned by PlayStation. And I hope that this means that maybe in the future, with the way that PlayStation Now is present, or better yet, this next item right here, Microsoft's Xbox Game Pass, that you're gonna be able to do VR content on PlayStation this way too. But speaking of the Game Pass, this is something Microsoft announced this week. It's coming to Xbox this month for the, what do they call it, like the developer preview, or the insider program actually is what they call it. Basically, it's a 10-month subscription service which offers access to 100 Xbox One/360 backwards compatible games, whereas Viveport, I mean, this is similar to Viveport and separate from PlayStation Now. PlayStation Now is cloud gaming. It's like Netflix. You don't own it. You just access it. These 100-plus titles, you're going to be able to actually download. You're going to put them on your system. That way you don't have to worry about buffering or internet speeds or dropping anything. And just like Viveport or Netflix, they're going to rotate every month, so you're always going to get something different. It's a great price point. EA Access on Xbox One is a similar price. So if you have EA Access and you get this Game Pass, depending on the titles between the two of them, it could be enough content that you don't actually have to buy games unless it's something brand new that you really, really, really want. So yeah, I hope that PlayStation Now is able to adopt something like this, because currently the cheapest method that you can get for that is $20 a month, and it's dependent on high bandwidth. But if they were able to offer a downloadable solution, and like I said, and that comes to VR, I mean, I'm not going to say I'd stop buying VR content, but yeah, I'd stop buying VR content. Like it would just be a natural fit. I really hope this happens.
Small price to pay.
Really small price to pay. Like between Viveport for HEC, Xbox doing this, and PlayStation Now already being present, like this is a way for them trying to dig into PlayStation's market share, and they should do the opposite, especially because I think this is going to become a thing. It's expected. They announced it at GDC. They kind of already said it before, and they just reiterated it this past weekend. Xbox Project Scorpio, which is coming this holiday season, is going to be shown off at E3 in 3 months. It's going to have mixed reality support. It's either going to do VR or AR or both. They might leverage Windows holographic either through HoloLens or their own VR platform. It might get its own dedicated Xbox VR headset. Who knows? But they'd be really foolish if they didn't include VR content as part of this. But we're going to find out everything about Xbox VR, if that's even a real thing, later this year. Oculus is the safe bet, given that they already have support on Xbox One, both on the slim and standard models, where you're able to, you're able to stream your Xbox One games into VR on your PC using Play Anywhere. And then also the fact that Oculus Rift at launch came bundled with Xbox One controller. Yeah, like Facebook is definitely in bed with Windows on this one. This comes also after Windows announced, or Microsoft announced, that Windows Holographic is not going to block either Steam VR or Oculus Rift on their platform. Like all of the VR entities on PC are going to be friendly from their standpoint. So all VR developers, like there's a platform there. It's like the beginning of a generation. They're all trying to work together in the best that they can. There's like the VR. There's too much to talk about. I don't want to keep talking about VR. It's a lot, but we're gonna find out June. And if like I said, if we only do 100 episodes, E3 might be our final episode. But thanks for listening, guys. I hope it's been a pleasure. I hope you learned something new. I hope I stole that from Drifter. If you want to tell us anything, go and do it on the interwebs. Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, WordPress, Tumblr. I don't check everything all the time, but I try to. Google Play Music, iTunes, Podcast, Stitcher, TuneIn, YouTube, SoundCloud. All of those platforms exist. All of them have our content, and we do update them frequently. So if you leave a YouTube video, put a comment, like us, follow us, subscribe, anything you want to do, it all goes a long way. If you even want to share us, do something special, make a t-shirt with my face on it, I'd love any of that. Hope to hear your voices soon. You can hear our voices again next week. Have a good one.
See you then.